It's 12 o'clock noon Eastern time, and we're going to start the live with Ty Hawkins. Ty, how do you pronounce your full name?
My full name, Tymiak.
Tymeek. Okay. Hey,
Yeah,
so yeah, we got Tymeek on the line, and we're going to do a live about his stroke story. And so, yeah, we can go ahead and start. Ty, I can ask you the first question that I wanted
sure.
to, yeah, get I wanted to ask you, how are you? Sorry, how are you before the stroke?
So pre-stroke, I was an athlete, really focused on career and life, and being an athlete. So that was me like pre-stroke, just so focused and determined. I was a college grad before having a stroke, and so I just was all about career and moving forward in life and trying to achieve the quote unquote American dream. So that was a lot of my focus, like pre-stroke. So I was a student, an athlete, and just kind of focus on career. I would say at that time.
Hey, okay, that's awesome. Yeah. I mean, do you feel like that helped you at all in your stroke recovery journey?
I feel that being an athlete did because a lot of my recovery is geared around my mindset, I would say. So I think that playing sports and having an athletic and competitive mindset just really helped me in my stroke recovery. I know just naturally based on like my brain makeup, doctor said that just based on me having an athletic mind, that kind of I guess, sped up my recovery process and my physical recovery process, should I say.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I mean, I can see, how you building those habits and those foundations could help along the way when you're recovering. But yeah, when I look at you, I see an amazing recovery, and so I wanted to have you on so that way you can share your story and inspire the community. So I
I
appreciate you making
appreciate
the
that.
time. Yeah, no,
No,
I
I
appreciate
appreciate
you.
you having me. Hmm.
All right, thank you. Yeah. So Ty, can you tell us a little bit about your stroke story?
Yeah, of course. So the exact date was June 5th, well, June 4th of 2019. And I went to the hospital on June 5th. So June 4th, I was experiencing some balance issues, coordination issues. It felt like vertigo. I had been complaining about headaches weeks prior, and I actually woke up with like a facial droop, but I didn't know the signs or symptoms of stroke. So at that time, neither my wife nor I knew about fast. So I had a facial droop that day, and it was the actual day of our engagement photo shoot. So we went to go take our pictures, and I ignored every sign in the book. My vision was blurry, my balance was off. Uh, I had numbness of my left side. So I had a hemorrhagic brainstem stroke caused by cavernous malformation, which is an abnormal cluster of blood vessels in the brain that can either be in the brain or in the spine. So I have a few different malformations, but the one that caused me trouble was the one at my brainstem. So I had a hemorrhagic brainstem stroke. I was 29, and I
Oh,
was in one night that after the photo shoot, I went home. uh, I'm very spiritual. So I had a dream that God came to me and asked me, did I trust him in my dream? And I said, yes, absolutely. And he said, okay, well, we have to go. And that to me in that moment meant that I had to go to the hospital. And so my wife took me over to the hospital where they ran MR. Well, first they did a CAT scan, and then they ran an MRI after some time to get better imaging where they originally thought that I had a mass on my brain, but they found to be cavernous malformation. Um, and so then from there, I spent 3 weeks in acute rehab facility, relearning how to do everything, walking, talking like properly, seeing. bathing myself, feeding myself, every anything. Essentially, I was reborn,
Mm.
and I learned how to do a lot of those things over the span of 3 was 3 months later.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I like how you said reborn. It really is compared to that. You just have to rebuild yourself from the beginning again, from what you're sharing,
Yeah,
like everything you lost.
yeah. I definitely think it's a rebuilding process. It's I look at it like I said as a rebirth. The person that I was, kind of I grieved that person at times, and I had to go through this to be who I am today.
Yeah, definitely. Sue McAlpine said hi. Hi, Sue. Yeah.
Hey
So,
Sue.
yeah, that's amazing. How you said you had a dream, of God speaking with you. Especially at that age, 29. I'm sure that was the last thing you were thinking about. So it's amazing to hear that.
Yeah, man. I honestly probably took a lot of things in life for granted at that time. Just the thought of I'll wake up tomorrow 100% and just be able to do the things that I want to do. So having a hemorrhagic stroke was definitely not on the to do list. But
Yeah.
here I am today.
Yeah, yeah, big time. Yeah, I think that's the way I learned too is through having a stroke. I learned so much about it, and I really respect what you're doing as far as your advocacy. And I did. That's how I found you is through Instagram, and it helped me recover as well. So I
Uh,
appreciate it.
I'm 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 glad, man. It's always an honor to hear that. That my story helped or helps someone navigate their journey. Because I remember being in the hospital, and I told my mom that if I could just impact one person with telling my story, that it would all be worth it. And apparently, I've done that a number of times over. So I would say
Yeah,
that this journey that I've been on has been totally worth the experience that I went through because I have impact. I feel like my life is purposeful now because of what I've experienced.
yeah, big time. Yeah, it's just like full circle moment, and I didn't really think about it fully till right now. It's like, oh, okay. I remember looking at your page, and I was like, oh, I wish my recovery would go that well. But yeah, so I wanted to ask you, what was your most difficult moment through your recovery, and how did you overcome it?
Honestly, just the most difficult part was probably what was definitely mental. My physical recovery kind of happened pretty quick. Like I said, I was back on my feet, doing things that I wasn't sure I'd be able to do in just 3 months. But mentally, it was a challenge because I had known a version of myself for so long for 20 and that version of myself changed in one day. So to adapt and to accept the new version of myself and who I am, um, that was very difficult, and it took a lot of faith. First and foremost is just trusting in God to believe that this happened for a reason and for me to figure out why. And one of the hardest things to do, as I mentioned, I am still an athlete, but at that time, my identity was so tied to my sport of basketball that I didn't know who I was outside of the sport. And
Yeah,
but I was stripped of being able to play for quite a long time. The stroke impacted the right side of my face, the left side of my body because it's at the brain stem and everything kind of my left side went numb, and I had to suffer from ataxia, which is coordination of the muscles. So it made it very hard for me to move, to do the athletic movements that you see in a lot of my videos today. And I had double vision, and I dealt with a lot of vestibular and vertigo issues over the last few years, which made it hard to play sports. And that was very tough because sports was a very big part of my life for a long time, and to be stripped of that so sudden, it came with so many different emotions like anger, sadness, and I had to really trust God and make peace with if I wasn't able to play sports again, would I be okay? And I think the moment that I made peace with that through praying and meditating and just leaning on my support system, my wife, my mom, once I was able to accept who I was and who I'm becoming, I think that's what really guided me through.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. So throughout everything, how do you feel that your experience has made you a better person, or have you felt like it has?
Yeah, I definitely feel like the experience made me a better person. I think a lot different now. I'm a lot less selfish and a lot more selfless, right? And so when
Yeah.
I say selfish, my priorities in life were all about myself, like my career, my what can I gain in life. And after this experience, my mindset kind of shifted on what impact can I leave while I'm here on earth, right? And so it's how can I help people personally, because I believe that we're better, it's strength in numbers, and I believe that we're better when we work together. And for me it was all about what impact or what legacy can I leave, and what positivity and what light can I shine on the world while I'm just focusing on my career.
I'm really glad that you shared that. Thank you. And I feel like, having people like that around you is powerful. And, like the way I look at things now is, like the people around me, it makes a big difference. And, we like during this stroke recovery, there's so many people that are around you and help support you. And so, it's great to hear that you've had that change positively.
Yeah, and I take less things for granted. Like I said, I in life I was just living as if tomorrow was guaranteed. So I would just think, oh,
Me
okay, I'll
too.
make this plan. This is going to happen tomorrow, and this taught me to take not to take anything for granted. Down to tying my shoes, brushing my teeth. I'm appreciative to be able to eat, because there was one time I had a trimmer and I couldn't really use a fork. And
Yeah.
so I know my situation could have been a lot worse because, like I said, I didn't understand fast, or be fast, depending on which acronym you want to use. I had no, excuse me, I was very ignorant to what that was. And so to still be here in the capacity that I am, it's very much miraculous, and I'm very fortunate because the statistics I'll just share really quick is to have a brainstem stroke, which I believe you did too as well, right? So
Oh,
we're go ahead.
mine was hemorrhagic, but it wasn't brain.
Hemorrhagic, but wasn't a brainstem.
It was cerebellar.
Cerebellum. Okay,
Yeah, cerebellum.
so
There we go. Yeah.
yeah. So they say that the survival rate, according to statistics, they say that the survival rate of a hemorrhagic brainstem stroke is roughly 26%. So that's one in every four people. So fortunately, I'm one of the ones that was fortunate enough to survive. And then they say of those who survive, just 10% make a significant or full recovery. And to be a part of that group as well, I'm very, very blessed. And so I don't take any of that for granted because I know how much different things could be, especially because, like I said, I didn't go to the hospital right away or follow the signs.
Yeah. I love how you shared that statistic because I don't think people realize, the odds and things like that. I
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah. As far as misconceptions, because I do see that a lot of your issues are invisible, like I deal with as well.
Hmm.
And so I wanted to have you share some of the misconceptions that you deal with.
So the first biggest misconception, which is flattering, but it's a misconception. Oh, I had Starbucks too.
Oh, you do? Hey, cheers.
um, yeah. I One of the biggest misconceptions is that I'm fully recovered, right? Um, to me, I view this as a lifelong journey. So I'll never consider myself 100% fully recovered, because to me, that means that I'm going back to the person that I was, or that's what I'm comparing myself to. Because that's what, to me, 100% recovery means, that I recovered 100% of to back to who I was. And for me, I don't want to go back. I appreciate where I am and who I've become. I needed this journey in my life, as unfortunate as it was. But I'm not 100% recovered, though. The things that you see me do physically, you don't see the neuro fatigue, which is invisible. You don't see my glasses. They're a prism lens because I have double vision. I had vertigo for the last 6 years that I just got treatment for, and that helped me out tremendously. I deal with ataxia, which is the muscle coordination issues. Um, my hypothalamus was impacted, which is the point of the brain where that oversees or controls your temperature, your ability to regulate your temperature. So for me, I
Oh,
sweat irregularly. When I first start working out, if you were to draw a straight line down through my body, my left side starts to sweat first before my right side, and that's called Horner syndrome. And so I have a hard time, dealing with heat, and when I work out, it's a hard time internally controlling my temperature. Also, my left side is still numb. A lot of people ask me, did I lose the function of like my left hand or any of my extremities? But I didn't lose the function. I could always move, but my
mhm.
left side is still numb. So a lot of the things, if you were to look at me physically, you would think I'm 100% recovered.
Oh, yeah.
Then also, another misconception is that I wasn't, I did something unhealthy. That either I didn't eat properly or I didn't exercise properly, and that's a big misconception. I was born with abnormal blood vessels in the brain, something that's out of my control. It's genetic. I did genetic testing for my family, because this runs in my family, and so my brother
Oh,
actually has. He had a hemp at the and so I just want to, clear up that misconception that a stroke can only happens to one, elderly people, and then two, people that are considered unhealthy. It can stroke doesn't discriminate. You can be young, you can be healthy. So next time, anyone talks to a stroke survivor, get to know their story before passing any kind of judgment.
oh, big time. Yeah, I love those that you shared. So, Sir Winston C said, God bless everyone. Thank you, Sir Winston.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I really like that. I remember seeing one of your videos and you were talking, or you showed how you were sweating on one side. And, I think that's so fascinating how it's just like pretty much like a straight line, like
Yeah, yeah. You
with,
can literally draw a straight line down, and then you'll see where it sweats versus where it doesn't. And it's very
yeah.
interesting. Then I also dealt with like skin issues, um, where my body, what it does is it sends signals that something is wrong, something is going on, whether it's pain. And then so I dealt with what's called dermatitis, where I would have like flaking on my skin. And so I had to go to the dermatologist to help get that cleared up. And then
Oh,
another thing, that doesn't get talked about is the mental side of stroke recovery. Like I said, physically things went well, but mentally it's been a roller coaster. At times where
Yeah.
I've I've been through bouts of moderate. I've been diagnosed with moderate depressive disorder before, social
Mhm.
anxiety, and things of PTSD, of course. Going through such a traumatic experience, no matter what age, will definitely impact someone. So just the mental health.
Oh wait, this here we go. It was just cutting out a second. Hey Roxy, thanks for joining us today. Happy Saturday to you. You know what? I did not catch it. It actually it's kind of paused right now. Let's hey, I'll give it a minute. Can you hear me, Ty? Okay, there we go. Wait, I see you kind of moving.
Yeah,
Okay, there we go.
yeah,
I
there,
think it's on.
yeah, there it is. Yep. So what I was saying was that the mental aspect of things, I was diagnosed with a moderate depressive disorder at one point in time,
Yeah,
PTSD, social anxiety, and so it really the stroke impacted my confidence within myself and my identity. So I decided that one day I needed help, and I got a psychologist and started doing psychotherapy or talk therapy, as we call it, and it's helped me tremendously. And I know there's a lot of stigma around that, but it's helped me tremendously, um, as
yeah.
far as my confidence in myself, social anxiety, and just dealing with depression or depressive episodes and things of that nature.
Yeah, no, thank you for being vulnerable too and sharing that. I can relate to that. And a lot of times, we only show so much online, and of course, you're gonna put on a smile, and for you to share that, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, man. I know for me, I know it's tough for people to talk about, or the mental health aspect is hard to get on camera. And so just being vulnerable enough to talk about it, it's hey, people need to know. And then there was one point there's a depression that they call functional depression, where it's hey, I can smile, I can go to work, but inside I feel you know, empty. I feel unhappy, and that's where I was concerned, and I knew I needed help. So, I went to therapy, and this was honestly just this year. So, I went back to therapy, and I took a leave of absence from work or short-term disability, as we talked off camera before,
Hmm.
and I felt the best mentally that I felt in quite a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Especially, you're just trying to get back in the motions and kind of live your life, normal again. And there's a lot of other things going on that we don't always see for sure. And so, yeah, I'm glad that we connected, and you gave me a lot of good um, mentorship and stuff too.
Oh man, I'm glad to be able to be, that for you, and to just be there, a part of your journey, and to see your recovery. Just it's great because it helps me to keep going, to know that my story helps someone else, and to see someone else pushing and to recover just like I did. It's inspirational for me to then keep pushing forward and moving the envelope and for
Yeah, it really does help both sides. So I love that. So Ty, yeah, it's coming close to about 30 minutes, and I had one final question for you,
uh-huh.
and I wanted to ask you, could you share with us something funny or weird about you?
Something weird about me, I would say, is I could eat pizza every day. If I like, I love pizza. And if my wife was, you can see her face. I could literally eat pizza 22 if it tell. Maybe another thing is, let's see, that honestly, outside of what you see on social media, I'm actually like a big kid. I like to just laugh and have fun. I'm always joking. So that's something that's probably funnier about me as you get to know me.
Oh yeah, hey, that's good. It's like I forgot that quote, but it was talking about when you grow up just to be a kid, and so I like that, man.
Yeah, yeah, I think that was a big thing. I think through my recovery, I lost sight of like my inner child and being a kid, and I just refound that joy this year. So for me, it's all about. I remember, I'm always a jokester. Even when I was in the hospital, I was always, joking or laughing through, despite what I was going through. So for me to just pass that on and help people to see like, hey, stay in touch with that inner child and just laugh and have fun. That's what life is. We're meant to do in life. It can be stressful enough already just living day to day,
Big time,
so why
yeah.
not try to laugh?
Hey, thank you. Yeah, so good. I'll share a story real quick. Is in the hospital after the stroke when I woke up. I was because my girlfriend was there. And I wanted to get her in the room, so I mean, I would joke around a lot and stuff. But then I started because they had like COVID restrictions, and
Hmm.
then I just started calling her my wife. I'm like, yeah, my wife, get my wife in, and everyone thought I was crazy or something, and yeah, but I was just joking around, and so yeah, it's
Yeah,
a it's a reminder, yeah, to not take it too seriously sometimes, especially almost didn't make it, so yeah, definitely
yeah,
agree.
man, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, Ty, you know what? I know you're on the road, so I really appreciate your time and we're almost reaching that 30-minute mark. I figured, 30 minutes is good. But yeah, I'm excited to share this live, on YouTube. I'll start creating like clips and stuff too so that everyone can
Okay,
see.
yeah, yeah, whatever you need, man. To make for me to my priority, of course, outside of spirituality, is one of the things that'll always hold special to my heart is our community. So in order, to have the opportunity to share my story and then hopefully to reach people and inspire them, it was a no-brainer to be able to jump on, especially with technology today. To be able to, I'm on my iPad in the car. My wife's driving right now. We're headed to Washington
Nice.
D.C. And
Thanks, Mrs. Hawkins.
yeah, so to be able to do this and have the technology too, it's hey, let's get it done.
Hey, yeah, I'm so glad, man. I appreciate that, Ty. It was fun. Hopefully, you had a good time.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a good time. I appreciate you having me on, and I look forward to future talks that we may have down the line.
Yeah, definitely. Well, cool, Ty. Yeah, have fun on your trip, and we'll talk more later. All right, Ty. Have a good one.